Hello, welcome back to your mat. Today we're going to do a Wintertime Wellness class number 2 of January. So we're going to continue with that theme of resting, restoration, revitalizing, very much like nature is doing right now. And I have a nice little fire in the background here, so hopefully you're nice and warm and cozy wherever you are. So for today's class, you may need a block toward the end for one of the poses. It's not necessary. You can get out without it. So if you do have one handy, go ahead and grab it just in case. And we'll start today's class with a quote like we do all the other classes. And this one is by B.K.S. Iyengar. And the quote is, "Yoga is the method by which the restless mind is calmed and the energy directed into constructive channels." So today I'm going to talk a little bit more about how yoga is much more than just a physical practice. So that goes along with that quote. So keep that in mind throughout today's class. So we're going to start an easy seated pose. So just sit with your right shin crossed in front of your left. I'm going to move over here a little bit. Here, more in the middle. And sit up nice and tall. Come out of your hips. And from here, you're just going to inhale and stretch your arms up overhead, reaching up. Get tall. And on the exhale, let your right arm fall to the ground and your left arm will just stay up. And you're going to side bend over to the right. So you get a nice opening in this left side, this whole left side. So keep your left hip grounded. Both your hips are grounded and squared to the room. A nice side twist here. You can stay up further, or you can come up further down. Take a couple nice deep breaths here in and out through the nose. And on the inhale, come up. Stretch all the way back up. And on the exhale, drop your left arm to the left. And your right arm will come up and you'll side bend over to your left, opening all up on this right hand side. So again, keep that right hip grounded as you bring that right arm up overhead. Come down any amount that feels good for you. Breathing here nice and deep. Exhale. And the inhale, come up, stretch your arms up overhead again. And on the exhale, we're going to come into a twist to the right. So bring that right arm behind you, left hand to your right knee. Twist looking to the right. Sit up nice and tall and straight. Breathing here. Exhaling. Keep this shape, but just turn your head and look over your left shoulder. And this is going to give you a nice stretch here in your neck, right along the right-hand side. Breathing here. Exhale. And the inhale, return to center. And inhale. Arms up overhead. And the twist to the left now. So bring that left arm behind you, right hand to your left knee, look over your left to the left. Breathing here in and out. Hold this shape, but just turn your head and look over your right hand shoulder. Now you'll get that stretch on the right side, the left side of your neck, looking to the right. And exhale, come back to center. From here, we're just going to take a couple of, before we switch, we're going to switch across of our legs. So go ahead and switch out your cross of your legs. Your left shin will be in front of your right. And from here, we're just going to do a couple of cat-cows, a few cat-cows to really warm up the spine and get us moving for the class. So inhale, arch your lower back and look up. Exhale and round into this. And I'll turn to the side so you can see it. So keep going. Inhale and arch, looking up. Exhale, round your back, tuck your chin and look in. So this is just cat-cows from a seated position. Inhale and exhale. And a few more. Inhale and exhale, round in. 2 more. Inhale, look up. Exhale, round in. 1 more. Inhale, look up, arch your lower back. And exhale, round in. Now we'll return to center, and from here we're going to come into bound angle pose. So you can bring the soles of your feet together out in front of you. You can have them further out a little bit, more of a diamond shape. You can bring them closer in. The closer in you are, the more of a deeper stretch you'll get in that groin area. So go with what works for your body today. And for a minute, just kind of butterfly the legs up and down a little bit, kind of opening up here into your, and again, your legs may be up here. That's okay. Wherever you are, allow them to kind of flop open like butterfly wings for a moment and just really feel that. And then from there, we're going to stretch forward. So again, you decide you can stay upright or you can come forward any amount. We'll just come into a nice little forward fold here. You can hold your feet. You can have your hands out in front of you, whatever feels best. And I'd like for you to remember that because of winter time as being more of a kind of a dormant time of year for nature, we should also think about trying to slow down ourselves and do a little less and notice things. So all of us have projects we want to work on. Keep breathing in this pose. All these things we want to do, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to do those things, but you also need to take some time for yourself and also just slow down a little bit. Let the winter months be that for you. Inhale and rise back up. And from here, we're going to do a twist, and I'll turn to the side. So you're going to bring your left foot underneath and over here to the right-hand side of your hip. And this right leg will step over that left leg. Now, if you find this is too much, this is not working for you, you can have this left leg out straight on the mat in front of you. So for this for this side, I'm going to show it with this variation. But you can keep it this way. Doesn't matter. So you pick which works best for you. I'll show this variation for this time. Sit up nice and tall, and all we're going to do is twist over to the right. So bring your right hand behind you, left hand to your knee, and just twist open to the right, looking out to the right. Twists, again, are really great detoxifiers. Helps boost our immunity, and all of us can use that in the winter time when there's lots of colds and flus and pandemics. And exhale and come back. And now we're going to switch to the other side. So now you're going to bring that right foot underneath of you, and now step that left foot over and outside of your right knee. And again, if you need to have this right leg straight out in front of you, go for it. I'm going to show the variation with it bent. Sit up nice and tall, breathe in deep, and exhale and twist to your left, bringing that left hand behind you and looking over to your left. This is also, you're pulling your knee a bit, so it's also helping open up your hip. So breathe here. And release and come back to center. Now from here, we're going to sit up into what is commonly called Virasana, which is hero's pose. I just threw a Sanskrit word in there for you. So if you want to learn Sanskrit, that will come later. But what this is a variation of that. So I'm going to turn this sideways here. And so you're going to sit back on your heels. And if you find that doesn't work for you, this is where a block or a blanket or a pillow or something might come in handy. You can always sit up on that. So pick what works best for you. If this doesn't work for you at all, then just sit in an easy cross-legged position. So from here, I'm going to come face this way for you. So you're going to be back on your heels. And from here, we're just going to take the hands, interlace them. We're going to stretch out our wrists for a little bit. So stretch those out in front of you. Your palms facing out. Really get a nice stretch in your wrist if you've been playing on the computer or typing. And then now stretch it all the way up overhead, breathing nice and deep here. Let the shoulders go. Don't bring them up by your ears, but let them go down on your back. And exhale and release that. And now we'll just do a shoulder stretch here. So just take that right arm across your chest and pull in any amount. Open up your shoulders there a little bit. Breathing nice and deep. You're also getting a bonus. You're getting a little bit of a quad stretch from this seated position. Exhale, let that go, and now bring your left arm across your chest, and using your right hand, pull it in. Any amount. You don't want to tweak it. You don't want to go too much to the side, just enough to get that nice stretch along here. Sitting nice and tall. And breathing. And from there, exhale and release that. And now we're going to come into pigeon pose. And if you've done some other classes, then you remember this pose. If it does not work for you, I'll show you the variation really quick. Variation that you can do seated would be sit like this, bring your right ankle up to your left knee, and you can either stay right here or you can come in any amount, and you'll really feel, you'll still get that nice opening in your hip. So this is a variation you can take. Otherwise, we're going to bring our right leg forward, left leg back on the mat, out behind you. And before you come down, let's sit up for a moment and get a nice little opening here in the chest and the throat, and you'll have a nice back bend. Back bends are energizing, So if you do need a little bit of energy in the winter and you've got something you actually have to do and you got to get woke up for it, this is a great way to do that. Some nice gentle back bends. Cobra is another great back bend that's helpful for energy. So from here, we're just going to fold forward any amount. You can stay more upright if you like. If you need to put something underneath of your right hip, you can do that. I'm going to come on down. And while we're here, I just wanted to also introduce the idea, and you probably already know this, but yoga is much more than just a physical practice. Most of us come to it. Make sure you're breathing in this pose. I should point out. Most of us come to this practice. Maybe we're trying to get more flexibility in our bodies, stronger. You know, most of us come to it for a physical reason, or maybe we have back issues, or we have something that an ailment we're hoping to get through. So a lot of us do come to the practice for the physical aspect, and there's plenty of benefits of the physical. But yoga has a lot more, much deeper levels and meanings to it. So we'll get into that here in a minute when we switch to the other side. So come on up, swing that left leg forward, and we're going to switch into the left side of pigeon. Again, if you're doing the seated pose, then you're just going to simply bring that left ankle up to your right knee and come up, set up any amount. So you can bring the right foot in closer, you can bring your hands in closer, however you need to be where you start to feel that stretch. Otherwise, left foot forward for pigeon, right leg is going to shoot back long on the mat. Make sure it's directly behind you and not splayed out to the side. So nice and directly behind you. Breathe in and sit up nice and tall. Open the chest. And then from there, exhale and fold in. So yoga, with all of its, a lot of its ancient teachings, through a lot of ancient knowledge is contained there, and it is great for your emotional and your mental health. And I think a lot of us could use that these days. So it's definitely more than just a physical practice. Breathe here nice and deep. And you'll find as you go into it more and you practice more that you'll start to notice those things. So you'll start to notice it's not just, oh, my hamstrings are open, but my mind is clearer. I have more clarity, or I'm not overreacting to things as much. Breathing here. So I hope that you do find that on your yoga journey, that you'll find it's a much deeper practice than you probably anticipated. Another nice deep breath in. Exhale, and now we're going to come back up. Swing that leg back around if you were in pigeon. And now we're going to do a little bit of core here. This is boat pose. And so, again, we're not just doing core for the physical to look a certain way or to have strong abs or whatever. It's also about the strength of your being comes from your core being strong. So it's not just about how that may look. It's about feeling challenged and strong. So we're going to start out really simple here. If you'd like, this is a nice variation. You can stay right here, and you can bring the legs up if you'd like with your arms on the ground. So you can do any variation you like. But I'm going to show you, starting here, going to bring your body into kind of a V shape. So you have your legs are bent, about hip distance apart, feet just hip distance apart on the ground, sitting back on your sitting bones, tailbone area. And now I'm in a V. And so from here, we're going to lift one leg. You can hang on the back of your legs if you'd like. Lift the other leg, and this is a great place to stay, holding onto your hands or your legs. If you'd like, release your hands down to your side and hold here for 3, 2, 1. Hug it all in. And you can always leave your legs down. You'll work up to that. Okay, we're going to do this twice more. So you pick what variation works for you. It might be here. You might be here. Pick what works for you. And again, going to hug everything. Hug your navel in towards the back of your spine. Lean back. Have a nice, tall, straight spine the best you can. Chest up. And now lift one leg. Lift the other leg. Both your arms out to the side or hang on. And hold here for 3, 2, 1. Hug it all in. Give yourself a hug. One more. Got one more in you? I think we got one more in us. Here we go. Both your legs up. Arms up to the sides if you like to. Hold here for 3. And if you feel really crazy, then stretch out those legs long and straight. 2, 1. Whew. That's much harder. So again, pick what variation works best for you. And now you've challenged yourself, and that's going to help you build confidence and also help strengthen your body and your mind. So from here, we're going to do a nice little stretch for our legs. So we're going to bring that right leg out long in front of us on the mat and bring your left foot in to the inner edge of your right thigh here. Sitting up nice and tall. Now we're going to face toward our knee, so over our knee. Sit up nice and tall, and you can stay here, or if any amount, bend forward, fold forward, and breathe here. Yoga gives us all the tools that we need to help us navigate life's many challenges. We all have challenges that we're facing either personally or collectively. And yoga gives us a lot of the tools to help us face them. It doesn't make them go away. It helps us face them. Inhale, come back up, and we're just going to switch to the other side. So bring your left leg out in front of you, and now your right foot will be up against the inner edge of your left leg. Sit up nice and tall and fold forward any amount, breathing here. You should feel a nice stretch in your hamstring. So I do hope that you find that with your yoga practice, that it will help. Maybe you come to the mat already kind of with anxiety or stress, and maybe by the end of the class, hopefully you feel a little less anxiety and a little less stress. Doesn't make it all go away, but for a moment, that time you have on the mat, it helps to bring you back to balance. Inhale, come all the way up, and from here we're just going to do a nice wide-legged sit on our mat. So just stretch your legs out nice and long, and again, they can be here. When I say wide-legged for what is best for your body. Always listen to what your body says. I've been doing yoga for a while, so I'm able to bring my legs out wider. But again, you pick what is best for you. It doesn't help you to have your legs out wider if it hurts. So pick what's best for you. Sit up nice and tall. And you can either stay here, or if you feel ready, tip forward any amount and bring your hands to the mat, your elbows, whatever comes to the mat, or stay more upright. And we're going to breathe here for a few breaths. And then I also hope that what you do on the mat, if you find yourself being more calm on the mat, then try to take that into your day off the mat. So what we learn on the mat is hopefully tools that we can take off of our mat and use in our everyday lives. Breathe here. One more nice deep inhale and exhale through the nose. You can always breathe in and out through your mouth if you need to. I know some people have head colds in the winter, so do what you need to do. Exhale and come back up. And from here, we're going to go into what is called fire log pose. That's appropriate. I've got a nice fire going here. Now, some of you may find this does not work for you, and if it does not, I'll show you a variation. But we're gonna try to go into this, and this is a nice deep hip opener. So go ahead and bring your your left leg out in front of you, and you're gonna bring your right foot on top of your left knee, and then your right knee will stack over your left foot. Now, some of you are gonna find that this leg does not. Some of you come down, some of you is way up here. If you find yourself way up here, you can always put a block or a pillow or something to help prop that up. So what we're looking for here is, regardless of how far this knee goes down, we're looking to have stacked, like fire logs, stacked legs. So if you need a block, use a block. If not, allow that leg to go where it needs to go. If this just does not work for you, make sure another thing I should say really quick is make sure you keep both of your feet flexed in this pose. That will help protect your knee. If this doesn't work for you, go back to that easy seated cross-legged position we had at the beginning of the class. We're still going to do a forward fold with this, and you'll still get that. So pick what works best for you. And this is called fire log pose because, I'll explain that when we get into it. I'm going to turn this side so you can see this. So from here, you may find this is plenty, whether you have a block or not. If you need to stay upright and you're already feeling the hip opener right there, then stay there. If you'd like a little more, then come forward any amount. Again, listen to what your body is saying and come forward the amount that works, and you should really feel it working into that hip. So breathe here. Make sure you're breathing in this pose. This is called fire log pose because this is a really wonderful stress reliever. If you've had a stressful day, a lot of us store some tension and stress in our hips, or our emotional or mental health might be kind of stored there. It helps get in there and burn it up and helps get it out and clear it out of your body. So it can be an intense pose as long as it's not hurting. Go with that intensity for a few more breaths. Just remember to breathe into that. And over time, you'll find you can come further down, and you'll also find that this leg will come further down. So you may start out here, and over time, you'll start to feel that leg coming down. And the other poses we did before this was to help warm up for this pose. Okay, inhale and come back up, and now we're just going to switch. So if you're in the easy cross-legged, then just switch the cross of your legs. Otherwise, we're now going to have the right leg in front, and now you're going to take that left foot, put it on your right knee, and now your left knee will line up with your right foot. So it looks as if I've got stacked legs here. And I will show this one with a variation with the block. And I'll also turn sideways so you can see it. All right, so from here, if you need to have that knee up elevated, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's perfectly normal. Stand up, sit up tall, nice and tall, and from here, either stay here, or if you feel like you want a little bit more, then come forward any amount. And breathe into it, and just notice when you're in this pose, are you able to bring the knee down a little bit more? And maybe you only have like a blanket here next time. So just see what happens if you're able to just let that go. Try to let go of that tension. Breathing here. Just letting all that, whatever might be going on, just let it burn up and go away. One more inhale. Exhale, come up, and we're going to end today's class in child's pose. I've chosen to make the classes in January 20 minutes in length. For a lot of people, I know that you're busy with other things going on, and I wanted to kind of ease you into yoga. So we're not going to have Shavasana in this class, but you're welcome to take that at the end. But we will end with a nice child's pose. So go ahead and have your big toes touching, your knees nice and wide and out on your mat. And just stretch forward, long on your mat. Forehead to the mat if possible. Breathe here. Stay here for just a moment longer. And if you have the time after this class, after the 20-minute class is done, feel free to flop over onto your back and go into your Shavasana for however long you'd like to. I recommend at least a couple of minutes in Shavasana. If your time is short, come on all the way back up. I thank you very much for joining me, and I commend you for taking this time to take care of yourself, for not only your physical body, your mental and your emotional body as well. Namaste.